Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Claire. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. It's hot, but it's going to be winter soon. So,
Very true. Around the corner. Well, thank you for agreeing to do the interview,
yeah, no problem.
imparting your wisdom. Because since the get-go, you've just been, from our very first call, you were super inspired and eager. And then even Leslie has said, she's like, everything Nicole does is just perfect. She's like, I don't even have to touch any of her work. So we're very thankful to have you as an instructor.
I'll blush soon. So,
So tell us a bit about your background and how you got started with micromanagement and kind of just your overall background with SAP.
it's about a 16-year journey. I've been in SAP for about 16 years now, maybe 17. I got to do the math. I have a degree in management of information systems, so I'm actually very grateful that I'm actually doing something that my degree is in, because I know so many people don't get to do that. But I started out as a super user on a project very long time ago, and then I've just kind of worked my way into various positions with my ultimate goal has always been consulting, being my own boss.
Yeah.
So I made that switch about 6 years ago, became a consultant, and I'm never looked back.
So cool. Congratulations.
Yeah. And then you reached out to me, a few months back. It's really a perfect match because I've been creating content for some time now, but I didn't have a platform to put it on. So I really thought this was a perfect opportunity for me.
Absolutely. No, well, as I said, we were so excited when we first found you, and then it's been great since then. So, and it seems like it works really well, especially, I mean, of all different job types, but with consultants, just kind of in between jobs or when there's a lull. So
exactly. It helps fill the void.
yeah. So how many courses have you created for us?
I've got 3 live right now. I'm working on a 4th one. I'm running into some technical difficulties on my end, but I hope to have my 4th one out there by the end of the month. So fingers crossed.
That's so exciting. Wow, that's 4 already, and it's only been a few months. So
yeah.
Very nice. So what does your personal process look like for creating courses?
It probably looks like chaos to most people. Now that I have a few done, it gets easier with everyone that I do, but
yeah,
it's really important to maintain consistency through the courses, because I feel like if I was watching a course, I'd want to get to know the style, and I don't want a whole new style of video with every new course. So I really just try to keep the look and the feel the same, so the user doesn't have to get used to something else that's new.
Oh, that's
Because
smart.
the content is usually either confusing or brand new to someone, so I try to keep my teaching style, my course style, consistent course to course. So to do that, I will always start with the last course that I published and just kind of strip it down to the studs, if you will. I like, in my spare time, I do carpentry and woodworking, so I use a lot of woodworking analogies. So I'll strip it down to the studs, as I say. Go back down to basics, and then I start rebuilding the framework just slide by slide. It's really ugly, it's really messy at first with just random notes thrown onto a PowerPoint slide, and then I start to see the story outlining. So I think I had a boss one time many years ago. He told me one of the most important things you can do is you have to tell a story. Otherwise, you're not going to engage the audience. You're going to lose the audience, and they're not going to pay attention. They're not going to care. And most importantly, they won't retain the information that you're trying to communicate. So I've always tried to keep that in mind in terms of telling a story. And if you can tell the story good enough, people will want to turn the page. So that's what I do. I just try to tell a story start to finish to keep the users engaged. It is all in PowerPoint, so I don't have any fancy tools. Once all that's done, I'll start writing the scripts. And that's maybe the hardest part is just trying to write the script slide by slide, figuring out when to hit the next button and making sure all the animations line up and that sort of thing. Then after that is the editing, and that's probably the most, it's not the difficult part, but it's the most time consuming part because there's so many things you want to cut out. You need to pause, you need to slow down, you add some more animation. So it's not really difficult, but it can be a very tedious step of my process. But I use an application called Camtasia, so it makes it a little bit easier for me to do that.
Yeah, we have a handful of instructors who use that as well.
Yeah, it's not very expensive and it's very user friendly. So I've been very pleased with it.
Okay, great. Good to know. And how long on average does it take you usually to create a course?
Oh, I'm a perfectionist, and therefore it probably takes me longer than it should, or it has to. Some of the content I've already got because I do a lot of training as part of my consulting work. A lot of the foundations there.
Yeah.
If I had to, I'm actually creating one from scratch, one that I have never done before. It's taking me a lot longer than the others have, only because I didn't have anything already ready to go. But with the ones that I've already published, I would say a good 30 hours total, and that's just on as I have free time, weekends, whatever. But it's not a 5-minute slap it together and you're done, but it's also not, a full-time job. So I think there's a balance.
Very true. And for new instructors, do you have any advice for them, tips or tricks, or things you've learned in your...
Just get started. I know that's easier said than done. So whatever you have to do to motivate yourself to just get started. It's for me to get motivated at first because it's so easy to put it off. You don't know if you're going to get any money from it. So it's an investment in, your time, your personal time. But I think I'm pretty confident. I think I can confidently tell anyone that you will get some money out of it. You'll never know how much you're going to get, but it'll be worth it. And when you see the stats start going up, you'll get motivated to do even more. And a good microphone doesn't hurt either. So
true. Yeah. I mean, audio is always the number one complaint from students. What microphone do you use?
I use a Snowball Blue. I bought it a long time ago before I started working with MMC, just because I was producing videos for some clients and I really needed to invest in good equipment to make sure that the audio was coming through clearly and concisely. So that's been the biggest investment. It wasn't very expensive, but been the best equipment investment that I have so far.
Okay, Snowball Blue. Yeah, I know Thomas and Leslie use a Yeti mic as well, and that seems to be relatively popular. But I know background noise also for a lot of instructors. I've been getting a lot of feedback on that. Do you have any tips for background noise? Or
I have a filter. The microphone that I bought actually comes with a filter. So for me, I'm a heavy typer, meaning I'm an angry typer. I always try to point that filter down towards my keyboard to try to filter out that on the front end. And then through the video editing, Camtasia has some really great audio editing to remove background noise, filter those out, level it out, because I can also kind of, start shouting at one point, and then Camtasia tools really help kind of even out the voice control that comes through the video.
Interesting. Okay. Very good to know, because whenever I get asked about different microphones, I always want to research a bit more. So you are a tried and true professional, so I will keep that in my back pocket. So what are some of the biggest challenges of creating courses, and how have you managed those as you've kind of gone forward in your second, third courses?
I think it's just the time investment. That's the biggest, for me, the biggest challenge is the amount of time that it takes. Again, you never know if you're going to see any money off of it, and we all have very little free time these days, and you certainly don't want to spend it doing something that isn't going to prove worthy later on. But I think if you can get past that and just trust in yourself, trust in the content, trust in the process, and just get going, you'll see that is not really a challenge at all. It's a challenge to get started, but once you get going, it's really easy from there.
Okay. And have you seen throughout your second, third courses, was it easier to get started, or did you still have that feeling of uneasiness or uncertainty?
No, it was really easy to get going once I had the first one out there. Again, because I'm reusing a lot of the same style. I'll just take the old one, and it really, I don't have to create anything from scratch anymore. Mm-hmm. So even if the course content is brand new, I still have the framework and some animations, and the style of the presentation is still there. So I don't have to really do it all from scratch. But once you start making a little bit of money, all those fears just fall to the wayside.
Yeah. And I like the idea of having the same consistent kind of brand that you've created for yourself. I have not heard that before, so I like that a lot. And of your courses, which one do you think has been the most successful, and why do you think that that's the case?
I don't know. I honestly do not know how I can or should measure success of a course. There's always the revenue factor, but it doesn't necessarily mean the course is successful. The course to me is successful if the watcher, the audience has learned something and then can take that back to their job. And I don't really have any way of measuring that right now. So I do love making money off of them, but more importantly, I like to teach people things and I like to help people learn in their role. And that's the way I'm going to judge success. So if I get repeat customers, I guess, if somebody watches another course of mine because they learned something from my other course, then I will feel like they're all successful.
And have you gotten many reviews from students?
Yes. I get the email. There's an automatic email that comes out telling you the star rating, and sometimes they'll put comments, and most of mine have been 5-star reviews, which is always,
oh my gosh, that's great.
I've had a few 4 stars, but nothing below a few 4 stars. So it is good feedback. I like,
that's great.
Even if it's, hey, stop talking so much. I just like feedback. I don't mind even bad reviews. They can always learn from those.
Constructive criticism. Well, that's so cool. Mostly 5s. That's great. Very, very cool. And then how do you come up with your topic ideas for your courses?
Well, like I said, I've been creating some course content for a while now. So for about the last 5 years, training content has really been the core of my consulting work. Most of these companies these days already have SAP. It's no longer a rush to implement the system. Everyone already has it. They just don't know how to use it. So more and more companies have been consulting me, contracting me out to design training programs for them, deliver the training programs to them, tweak configuration here and there, but mostly training. So like I said, a lot of this content has already been created. I just have to kind of get it into the micromanagement format that we need.
Yeah. Okay, great. And I know you said you have a 4th course that's coming out. What topic is that? Or is it a secret?
It's not a secret, but it is a little different. All the courses I've done so far have been around materials planning, production planning, purchasing activities, MRP. This course is going to be more geared towards a super user, how to build ad hoc queries through the SQVI, the quick view, and then launching that over to the SQ01. So I think a lot of people struggle with, okay, great, SAP's got all this data and all this information, but how do I get it? How do I get my hands on it? And so I think this is going to be a really cool course because I'm going to show you exactly how to get your hands on the data and export the raw list data out of SAP so you can analyze it and make useful decisions on it.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And this was the course you said that you didn't have the nuts and bolts.
I have, within the ECC system that I'm using to do this query, I'm missing a piece of access. So I'm working with Michael Management, who's been really great in supporting any questions I have about the ECC client that we're in.
Yeah.
We're just trying to work through an access restriction that I seem to be getting that I've never gotten in any other system. So I'm confident we'll work through it. If not, I may have to change the course just a bit, but either way, I still think it's going to be a worthwhile effort.
Oh, very exciting. Very cool. And what type of student is that geared towards?
The super user, more of an advanced,
okay.
Because this particular transaction is typically not available to any and every user in the organization. It's typically restricted to an IT user or a super user, someone in the business that has a little bit more advanced access than your typical end user.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Awesome. And then what motivates you to create your courses?
I know people want me to say the money, but I just like building things. I really do. I love to create things. So whether it's
that's the best answer.
That I do a lot of carpentry, I do a lot of furniture, I make a lot of art, and I don't see this as any different. I really just love creating things that are meaningful and beautiful. So that's what really motivates me. But the extra cash does not. I will be honest, it helps.
That's what I always tell instructors. You can't really do it for just one reason, just for the money. Because then it's, you have to want to contribute to education or create something tangible. And I think that's wonderful that that's at the forefront.
I will live on forever through my videos.
Yes, it's so true. And through your woodwork.
Exactly.
Very cool. So at the end of the day, what's your favorite part of being an instructor?
I think it's knowing that I'm hopefully helping to foster an understanding of SAP. You know, for 16 years in SAP, I hear a lot of people, from managers to users to IT people, that SAP is just too complicated. It's too confusing.
Yeah.
And it definitely can be. It can definitely be an intimidating system, especially if you've never worked in a system like it before. But I think the more that the users are introduced to the system, and the more training that they have, meaningful training, the less confusing and less cryptic the system is going to be. So I think that's the best part, is I'm helping to create that understanding of the user community.
You absolutely are. And your ratings are definitely a testament to that. So thank you for everything. We're super lucky to have you as an instructor.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And we will look forward to seeing that 4th course. And
yes,
sure, all current instructors and future instructors will get a lot out of this. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Nicole.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.